So do you also want to add the webinar registrants in Webinar Jam from the Webhook Response? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly, and in this video we are going to understand how to add webinar registrants from Webhook Response to Webinar Jam. So like you, I also use an application which is not connected with Pabbly Connect to collect the details of the registration. So now what I want is that as soon as I receive a new response from that application, with the help of the same registrant details, I want to create a registrant in my Webinar Jam account too. So to connect the application which is not already connected with Pabbly Connect, I'm just going to use a feature by Pabbly, which is Webhook by Pabbly. So to do this, we are simply going to create a connection between Webhook by Pabbly and Webinar Jam. So we're just going to create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, using an amazing automation software which is Pabbly Connect. So if you also want to create this amazing automation for your own business, then for that you have to come with me towards my screen. Welcome to my screen everyone. So let's begin this setup of adding a webinar registrant in our Webinar Jam account whenever we receive a new Webhook response. So to do this, first I'm just going to show the proper working of this automation, and as you can see that I've simply filled in this registration form, and now I'm just going to click on this submit form. And once I'm just going to click on this submit form, I'm just going to open my registrations of this webinar, and I'm just going to refresh this registrants page, and I'm just going to check that if a new registrant with the same details have been added or not. And as you can see, the new registrant with the same details have been added. You're going to see the first name, last name, email address and the phone number are exactly the same which we entered in our test submission. So yes, this is no magic. This is the power of automation which we're going to create in today's video. And if you also want to create this automation for your own business, then for that you have to watch this tutorial till the end. So to do this, I'm just going to open a new tab, and I'm just going to look for the landing page of Pabbly Connect simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. And now it is opening the landing page of Pabbly Connect. It is an easy to use automation tool using which we're going to create this connection. But before we move on further, I'll just show you something really helpful. This is the Pabbly community where automation users, business owners and marketers connect. Pabbly community is a space where users share their ideas, workflow, solutions and doubts. So if you're stuck at any step, the community is a great resource for guidance. And if you also want to join this amazing community, the link is given in the description box below. Make sure to check it out. Alright, I'm just going to move in further, go back towards the landing page of Pabbly Connect, and right now our Independence Day sale is going on. So if you wish to purchase Pabbly Connect for a one-time price, this is the perfect time to purchase it. I'm just going to move in further without wasting any time. Let's create this automation. So we have two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So over here, if you are a new user and you don't know about Pabbly Connect and want to explore Pabbly Connect, you can simply click on this sign up for free, and you're going to get 100 of tasks free every month to explore Pabbly Connect. Over here, I'm an existing user, so I'm simply going to click on this button which says sign in. And once I'm just going to click on this sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps, and over you're going to see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm simply going to click on this access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connects account. And now it is opening the dashboard of my Pabbly Connects account, and to get started, I'm just going to simply click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me to select the workflow builder. So we have two options, the new one or the classic one. So the new workflow builder is faster, flexible and ideal for those who want a modern interface, while the classic one on the other hand is stable, has a familiar approach and ideal for those who want a tried and tested setup. So you can use any one of this. I'm just going to use this new one, so I'm just going to go towards the select of the new one. Now I'm just going to simply enter the workflow name right over here, which is add webinar registrations from Webhook Response to Webinar Jam. Now I'm just going to move in further. I'm just going to simply select the folder in which I want to save my workflow. And now on my dashboard, you can see multiple folders which I've already created in which I save my workflows. If you also want to create a new folder, you can simply go towards this create new folder button and create your own. Alright, I'm just going to move in further. I'm just going to simply click on this button which says create create. And once I'm just going to click on this create, it is going to open the most important window of our automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger and actions are the two main principles on which our workflow is going to run. Trigger means when this happens, and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger starts the process while the actions are results towards the same. Alright, I'm just going to move in further. For that, I'm just going to simply click on this add trigger button, and now for the trigger application, I'm just going to simply select it as Webhook by Pabbly. So today I'm just going to use Webhook by Pabbly right over here as my trigger application because I want to connect an application with Pabbly Connect which doesn't have a connection with Pabbly Connect already. So you can also use Webhook by Pabbly to connect any application with Pabbly Connect which is not already connected with Pabbly Connect. Alright, now I'm just going to simply select the trigger event which is catch webhook, which is preferred, and now I'm just going to click on this connect. And now we have received this webhook URL, and now I'm just going to simply add this webhook URL into the application which I want to connect with Pabbly Connect. So to do this, I'm just going to simply copy this webhook URL, and then I'm just going to open this application. So as you can see that today for the example I'm using JotForm, but you can use any another application which is not connected with Pabbly Connect. JotForm has a connection with Pabbly Connect already, but I'm using it just as an example. Alright, so I have already created this registration form, so I'm just going to go towards this edit form. So this is the form which I want to connect with Pabbly. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go towards this edit form and then towards this settings, and after coming over here towards this settings, I'm just going to go towards this integrations, and after coming over here towards this settings, I'm just going to go towards this integrations, and after coming over here towards this integration, I'm just going to look for Webhook. So you also have to follow the same process. You have to open the application. You want to connect with Pabbly Connect, go towards the Webhook setup and add your Webhook URL in that application. So I'm just going to simply add the Webhook URL right over here and click on this complete integration, and now my Webhook URL has been added in JotForm. So with this, we have successfully completed this trigger connection, but now it is saying waiting for Webhook response. So we are just going to do the test submission in order to capture this Webhook response. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to simply fill in this form. Let's say I'm just going to fill in this form with these details, and now I'm just going to simply enter the country code to right over here, and then for the phone number, I'm just going to simply enter this as my phone number. Now I'm just going to move in further and click on this submit form. And once I'm just going to click on this submit form, it is saying thank you. Alright, so I'm just going to open my workflow, and as you can see that Pabbly has successfully captured the response of the same right over here. You're going to see the same email address, phone number, the country code, the last name and the first name. So yes, once again I'm just going to specify that I use JotForm as an example. You can connect any another application which is not connected with Pabbly Connect using this Webhook by Pabbly feature. You can simply add the Webhook URL into that application you wish to connect with Pabbly Connect. And yes, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step, and now what I want is I'm just going to simply add this webinar registrants in my Webinar Jam account into this webinar which is Digital Growth Secrets. Alright, so I'm just going to open my workflow, click on this add new action step, and now for the action application I'm just going to simply select it as Webinar Jam. So I'm just going to look for it and select it, and now for the action event I'm just going to simply select it as register a person to webinar and click on this connect. Now if you have already connected your Webinar Jam with Pabbly Connect, you can go towards this select existing connection and then save. But I haven't created this connection, so I'm just going to go towards this add a new connection, and it is asking me for the API key. So from where we just going to get this API key, we simply have to open our Webinar Jam account, and now from the left hand of the side we have to go towards this webinars, and I want to create this automation for this webinar, so I'm just going to go towards this advanced of this webinar and then towards this API custom integration. And over here is my API key, so I'm just going to simply copy this API key, and then I'm just going to paste it right over here in my workflow. And after pasting this, I'm just going to click on this button which says save. And with this, we have successfully connected our Webinar Jam account with Pabbly Connect. And now I'm just going to move in further, select the webinar right over here in which I want to add the registrant. And now for the first name, I'm just going to simply enter the first name which I received in the response. Alright, so I'm just going to simply enter it. But we are not going to enter it manually by typing it like this, but instead I'm just going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping. So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the details from the previous step. And when we insert the details from the previous step, automatically our details become dynamic and change with every new response received. So this inserting the details from the previous step help us to run our workflow in real time because the response is going to change, and so these details are also going to change. So yes, one by one I'm just going to map all these details which are required right over here. I'm just going to simply map all of these details, and as you can see that I have successfully mapped all of these details. If you wish, you can ignore the rest of the details and only enter the details which which are required and click on this save and send test request. And once I'm just going to click on this save and send test request, it is saying success. Alright, so I'm just going to simply open my Webinar Jam account and I'm just going to go towards this registrants, and after coming over here towards this registrants, I'm just going to simply select the webinar and go towards this go button. And as you can see that we have successfully added a new registrant. You're going to see the same first name, same last name, same email address and the same phone number which we entered during our test submission. And with this we have successfully completed our workflow. And now whenever we're going to receive a new registration submission from this form, automatically a new Webinar Jam registrant will be created. And all of this is going to happen in backend. We don't have to come back in again to our workflow to click on save and send test request. And yes, once again I'll just mention this, that you can use Webhook by Pabbly feature to connect any application which doesn't have a connection with Pabbly Connect now. Alright, I use Jotform as an example application only. So yes, now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect. And while trying, if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. See you in the next video with many more automation tips, everyone. Thank you for watching. So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can connect many more applications. So now if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this URL. And now go try this amazing automation for your own business too, because right now we are offering a free trial of Pabbly Connect.